Hi, it's Kylie. Welcome to my studio. For those of you that are new here, I'm a mixed media artist and a book artist in Scotland. For those returning, thank you very much for coming back to see me again. I really do appreciate it. So I hope at the start of this video you saw a little bit of footage from my recent trip. It was a very short trip, just over the course of 3 days, 2 nights away, although I was then away elsewhere for a couple of nights. I took my travel journal with me, and while I remember, a number of you have asked what I use to pull the gel prints. It's wet strength tissue paper, so it's stronger than normal gift tissue paper. I get mine from Carnival. I understand that they're out of stock just now. You could try doing this with ordinary tissue paper. It's just this is much more robust and you can get sometimes a better pull off the gel plate. But you know, it's one of these things, try it with deli paper, try it with ordinary tissue, just experiment, because that's what I'm doing a lot of just now. I've used this tissue paper for years and years, and yeah, I love it. So where was I at? Rethink. Took my sketchbook with me, didn't actually do any kind of plein air sketching, but I've gone back in and I took a lot of photographs, as I always do when I'm out and about, and I've just gone back in and done some very basic sketches of a couple of the scenes. So this is on Loch Ness, some little boats here, tree, mountains in the background, obviously the water, just another scene. This was when I was out doing a kind of walk through woodland, this amazing tree. If I can, I'll insert the photo just with all these patches. I'm often drawn to not just the big scenes, but to things that have pattern and texture, and this tree was one of those. As I say, if I can, I'll insert the photo now. This was fungi. Again, there was an old piece of tree branch here and this amazing piece of fungi and just other leafage from plants growing about. This again was a piece of tree bark and the detail in it was amazing. I'm kind of naturally drawn to pattern and texture, and I find it particularly useful when creating abstract art, I guess. So that was it, just a few simple sketches from some images that I took. So those of you that have been watching my vlogs know that I'm just trying to recover my creativity after a bit of a time away. I'm continuing to work in my sketchbook. I'm well through it. I think I've got about 10 double page, so 10 of these left. So I think I'll be finished this book by the end of August. I always think there's something very satisfying about when you see a sketchbook, an art journal, a glue book, whatever you want to call it, when you see them starting to chunk out like this, you know, moving away from that nice pristine paper held together. So yeah, continuing to work in this. Obviously had a break from it when I was away. I do feel now that if I don't come to this every day, I'm not going to be concerned. That process of coming to it day after day for over a month has really helped me. Other things I've been working on. I just started to work on my little book that I made a couple of weeks ago, you know, the kind of one-page thing. I took this with me. I didn't do anything in it at all. I've started to put down some collage pieces, and because this was very red in places, yeah, I stuck blue down, but then I did add a little blue dot. Because it was very red in places, I'm actually starting to go over just with some white gesso. I might come in with some black and just treating this as a little thing to play in. I actually quite like this on the back cover. So a handy thing just to put little scraps in, and of course I'll leave the link to this and to the other one-page books that I did. Don't know if you can hear that. Sounds like a magpie in the background clacking away. Right, what else? So, I'm going to see what that magpie's doing, because magpies sometimes chase, well, they don't sometimes, they often chase other birds out their nests, and then they throw the eggs out and take over the nest. So I'm just going to go and check that. Right, all is good. They were sitting in a tree where, as far as I know, there's no other nests. It's not the type of tree that birds nest in, but I did notice some young magpies going about the other day, so they were maybe just calling on the young. Right, after that brief bird interruption, came into the studio the other night, kind of into the evening, 7:30ish, not that that matters, but did my sketchbook page, and then I got out my jelly plate. I really just wanted to create a series of backgrounds that I want to start working with. I didn't record this. I used the System 3 paints, and they're a medium body acrylic, the ones that I showed a number of weeks ago, and I have to say they pulled up brilliantly off the gel plate. I really love the way. Now, I used just a number of different colours. I did not clean my brayer off at all. You know, I didn't even use a roll-off sheet. I just kind of mixed colours in. In some instances, I mixed them in quite well. In others, I didn't bother to mix right through. So I got some quite nice, well, I think quite nice colours. So these are all just for some backgrounds. Planning to do some image transfers on top of some of these. And all I did in mixing was doing this, and that's why in some instances getting this kind of swirly effect. But I think they turned out pretty well. As I say, I loved the way these paints actually lifted up and off from the gel plate. I didn't use anything other than the System 3. And I'm loving this bit of kind of pattern that's appeared. Just takes the plainness off it. A lot of these got a kind of nice sea colour. Talking of which, sea, if you didn't see my video last Saturday, then I will link it below, along with the follow-up to that on the Wednesday, which was, you know, the hop video. It was the PM Artist Studio collaboration hop, which I enjoyed doing, and I put that up instead of the vlog. So yes, I'm interested. A variety of colours. I'm not entirely certain what paper I used, but it really reacted very well. I think it may just be a copier paper, but I need to double check if it's the one that I'm thinking it is. I'll pull some more of it out and just double check, because I'm really quite liking it. It's a slightly heavier weight than some copier papers. So yeah, nice variety of colours. This one's nice and grungy. I've had people say to me before, when they've seen me making things, oh, you've mixed those colours, you're going to get mud. I don't mind mud, because I like kind of earthy, grungy colours, so quite happy with those. That was when I went to use the plate. I had a bit stuck on it, but I just, you know, went over that. Eventually bits picked up. These are not in the order that I did them. Nice vivid greens. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do something with these today. Maybe some image transfers. Might do a little bit more collaging. Need to think about a project for Wednesday, or something for the Wednesday video. I've got something else that I'm going to be working on in the not too distant, but I don't think I'll get that done this week, maybe the following week, but I'll let you know more about that as the weekend goes on. So time for a cup of coffee, I think, and I think I'll get the gel plate back out and maybe do some image transfers. Right, it's now Friday. It's not Friday. Goodness. Still Saturday, 10 to 4 in the afternoon. Didn't realise I'd been working on the Wednesday project for quite as long, but suddenly the camera was full, or the disc was full, the card was full. So I think there's well over 2 hours just on this project, but I'm thoroughly enjoying doing it. Sneak peek, sneak peek. I'm not going to get it finished today. Come back to it tomorrow. There'll be lots of collaging in there. But my glue stick is just about run out. This was at Elmer's. I think I mentioned it not all that long ago when I said I'd got a haul. This bit fell out when I was gluing, and that's what I'm down to. Got my little book out again. And I think I'm just going to work away on this. I do like this page. I was thinking about putting some more white on it. Quite interesting. Well, I always say this, quite interesting, and then think, well, it's maybe only interesting to me. But this kind of shape, I know it's kind of semicircular, but it keeps appearing in my sketchbook, and I know why, because it's something from round about here that I love. But it was just interesting that I cut a shape and it kind of reminded me of that. Not too happy with this front page yet. This is a little bit difficult to work in the sense that you kind of got to let pages dry. This started to look like a landscape to me. I'm just trying to take away, although the pages were nice enough the way they'd been painted, I was just trying to make a bit more of it. So I brought out just some white gesso, some black gesso, and I've got my old scrubby brush, as I call it. I mean, this thing is done. The bristles are worn down. I keep cleaning it, I do clean it, but it just kind of scrapes stuff on. It's got a strange feeling to it, but I can't bear to part with it. So, there was something I was going to talk about. And I'll sit and think about it for a minute while I do this. This is stuff that you can just sit and do pretty mindlessly. You don't have to think about it a lot. Well, you could think about it as much as you want, but it's quite helpful in not having to think too much about it. However it turns out is how it turns out. Might bring a pen in and go round these. It's reminding me a bit of tree stumps. Got a lot of landscapes going on in my mind just now. I'm going to stop and think about what it was I was wanting to say, because in the grand scheme of things it wasn't important, but just in terms of my journey it felt important. I'll think about it. This is another sort of symbol that's shown up a lot in my kind of sketchbook, and I am going to do probably a full flip through my sketchbook when I finish, so that will probably be towards the start of September. I only stuck down the word room because it was on a piece of paper. It doesn't mean anything. These remind me of birds, or indeed fish. Who'd have thought? But I'm just going to stick that in there and that in there, and it allows me to move on to another page. Here I stuck down a bit. It was at the bottom of the page. Usually I would tear these white bits off, but I quite liked the fact there was all that and it had extra. And there I actually used a bit of my washi tape, and I've still got it all stuck together, but there's something quite satisfying about just ripping a little bit off and adding it on. That was such a bonus out of that little journal I made the other week there. So I'll link all my recent things in the description box below, but obviously if you go to my homepage, you'll see under, I think first of all I've got Best of Kylie Coo. I must update that. Then I've got, or maybe it's things you might want to watch. Then I've got, recently uploaded. But if you go to the video page, you will see everything there that I've uploaded recently. So I did actually remember what I was going to say. I feel that, over the last month or so I've come quite a distance, because I really felt that I'd kind of lost my way with my art. I know exactly why that happened, and I'm actually okay with that, but I just felt that it was going to be a struggle kind of getting back to the daily practice. Having worked in my sketchbook, I do feel that I've managed to do that. I'm now not concerned if I don't work in it daily. I've probably said this already in this vlog. I'm not concerned if I miss a day here or there. I'm not concerned. Or if I decide to work on a different project and not in the sketchbook, then that's going to be absolutely fine. Albeit I would like to keep the sketchbook going, because that has actually helped generate a few ideas, and I think at some point I'll maybe do a video just on the benefits that I've found of keeping that sketchbook and how it's been useful in getting back on my creative path. These are all ending up like kind of miniature landscapes. At least that's how they look to me. But so one of the things I said in a vlog when I kind of started back, I think it was around, in terms of what I was saying, it was around, the things that I wanted to start doing. And I've realised, or the other day I realised that I spoke about going to enter something for an exhibition, a juried show, and the other day was the final day, or it could be today, maybe yesterday was the final day for getting entries in. So earlier in the week I thought, am I going to do this or am I not going to do this? A decision needs to be made, because there's no point in thinking, will I, won't I, and there's no point regretting it afterwards if I don't. So in the end I decided that I wouldn't. Just decided I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. And I would have loved to, because this particular show only takes place once a year, so I would have loved to, but I just felt it was going to be too much pressure on myself. And also, I didn't particularly want to just rush to do something for the sake of it. I'd rather do something that I felt fully fitted within my kind of creative ethos, so something that I was happy with at the end. I wouldn't have wanted to say I was going to submit something and then feel that what I did submit just wasn't up to par. So that was that decision made, and although I left it kind of last minute, I did feel better for the fact that took that decision. But one of the things I noticed, here again I used the edge of the paper, which I wouldn't normally, but I'm just going to kind of blend those two in a bit. Because it's gesso and because I'm putting it on fairly thin, it just helps the two, and because this paintbrush is the way it is, it doesn't create a thick line, it just helps blend the two together. So yeah, one of the things I'm finding just now is almost a bit of resistance to starting to work on canvas again. Now, I did do it a few weeks ago when I took that Buddha canvas and put some lilies on the top of it. I think I called them daylilies, but I think they're actually what might be called the stargazer lilies. Doesn't matter anyway. That's one of those points that's really neither here nor there. But I did start to think that now I've maybe got a little bit of resistance to going back to working on canvas, and I've been trying to think through why that is. And I think there's an element of, I still feel like I'm trying to get back to my own style. But I'm actually having a lot of fun trying to work out what that is. So when I come to show you my sketchbook, you'll see that there are all manner of things in it. There's actually a lot of kind of abstract, because a lot of what I've been doing is simply playing with colours, with textures, but I think from that I'm kind of picking up on one or two things for a possible future direction. But I do also want to go back and pull out some things from the past and just kind of look at them and say, well, did I like these? Did I feel these were in keeping with the type of art that I want to create? And what do I do next in terms of using that information to move forward? I hope that all makes sense. Again, it's a bit of another stream of consciousness as I walk through this journey of trying to get fully back on my creative path. I think I'm well and truly on it now. I mean, I think I'm heading in the right direction. Another landscape, or is it just me that sees landscapes here? Gone from looking like either the earth or, well, it could still be the earth, or I thought it was a blue sun to begin with, but it's almost got a kind of moon to it now. So I might swap to a bit black here, or probably grey, because I won't take that off. And here's another thing that keeps kind of showing up, this kind of cross. I know this has got the double on it, but just interesting that these symbols keep appearing. I've lost the black pen that I normally use, so this is just a basic Bic biro. Just want a couple of things to stand out a little bit. I will work more tonight or tomorrow on the project for Wednesday. I also brought my white pen. Not really used this to any great extent. I can't remember where I got it. It's a Pilot, but it's got Choose on it. I can't remember where I got it. I think it's okay. I keep losing track of what I'm saying today. I'm so sorry. I just keep getting into what I'm doing and then forget that I was actually speaking. So yeah, I will work on the rest of the Wednesday project. It's interesting how I've noticed this with a few white pens. It starts to kind of take on the colour from underneath, even though that's not water soluble. But that's okay. I don't mind. Yeah, because it's even transferring it a bit. That's okay though. I'm feeling that other than one of the two of these little additions, this book is actually done. It's served its purpose. I could add to it again in future if I really wanted to, but I don't know, I just feel it's kind of done. So yeah, I'll go back to working on the Wednesday project. I might pop on tomorrow with this vlog and just see where things are at, but I might just call it as it is. I want to keep the vlogs shorter than they've been. I don't mind making longer videos, but I don't think people actually like terribly long videos. Let me know what you like. Do you like a long video or something much shorter? I know I'll get a mix of responses because, you know, some people like very short, snappy with it, and others like longer, chattier, maybe going into more of the process, etc. Icy hills. I could honestly just sit with one of these little books, you know, they don't take long to make, they're fun to make, and I could just sit here for hours on end playing in them. In fact, I did that last night. I just sat and played in this for a little while, till quite late on. Maybe it was the night before last, can't remember. Losing track of time. I think last night I actually watched a little bit of TV. I don't watch a lot of TV now. Although I do like where there's a series. Definitely looks like a sort of fish, the front of a goldfish. Or it's some fancy spaceship heading to Earth. Excuse me, I've got a terrible cough just now. The fields around about are being harvested, so there's always a lot of dust comes off when there's harvesting, and yeah, it just starts my asthma off, something awful. sip there. Blue. See a bird there, bird's head with its beak, and more fish. What was it about the fish just now? I didn't see the Loch Ness monster this time round, but I do believe she's there. I have no doubt she's there. Got a big whale now. It's amazing how the brain sees things. It's a camel's head and its hump. If I carry on seeing things like that, you'll be thinking I've been on something, and I've not been. No alcohol involved. There's plenty of coffee. And tea. Something's sticky. Not liking all this red, so some of that's got to go before I say this book is definitely finished. Some black still on that. Don't mind if it's grey, that's okay. Right, I think it's done at that. I might stick some words on. Oh, I quite like that front. Yeah, I quite like that. Maybe some more words. But not just now. I need to go and check that everything's okay for my PM Artist Studio collab video going live in about 3.5 hours time. And then I need to think about dinner, and then I will be back in here. So one way or another, I'll do an outro to this video just to say cheerio and all that kind of thing, either later tonight or tomorrow, depending on how things go. So back with you shortly. So this video ended up way longer than I expected, so I'm ending it now just with a few images of the amazing patterns and texture that I saw when I was on my short break. Hope you'll check in with my Wednesday video as well. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.